Well, hey there, Roof It Up audience. This is kind of a new voice. I know this is not Thais, this is actually Caroline today. Welcome back to another Powerhouse episode where we bring you the tools, tactics, and expert insights to level up your roofing business. So today we've got someone who's here to help you get paid faster, more accurately, and with a lot less stress, which is very important. We're talking about the kind of support that lets you focus on building and scaling instead of getting stuck in the weeds of estimating and claims. So joining us today is Adam Albright. Am I saying it right?
You are right, Albright.
Okay, perfect.
My
Amazing.
friends call me Half Bright.
Oh, half right. Okay. Amazing. So
Yeah.
he is a revenue, business development, and product manager with Balance Claims, a company that's been crushing it since 2015 by helping contractors like you simplify insurance supplements, nail down exactimate estimates. That's like a tongue twister. Wow. And manage
That
claims
is.
like pros. So Adam, welcome to the show. We're pumped to have you here.
I'm
So
excited to be
exciting.
here. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, before we go to the main questions, will you introduce yourself to the audience?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So like you said, I'm Adam Albright. I've been working with Balance since 2018. So shortly after, kind of that mid startup range. When I started, there was about a dozen people, and now we're scaled to 36, I think, is the head count right now. So tripled in size. Definitely grown. We went from this little office building where I was sitting in the basement to now we have the whole first floor. We're all in the same office. No one's remote. So lots of the good collaboration, and I've gotten to grow here and learn a whole bunch of stuff that's relevant to what we're talking about.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's what everybody wants to know more about. And myself specifically, I truly need to learn more about this side of the industry. So,
Yeah.
fascinating. So, first question that I have for you, Adam, is how can follow up turn a one time roofing job into a lasting customer loyalty and referrals?
You know, this is because you sent me the question and I was like, oh, I'm prepared for it and stuff like that. But this one was
You're never prepared. Wow.
Yeah. And I thought really long and hard about how that is. And it's more about the trust that someone's gaining from you. You do business with people that you like and the trust that you gain. Because from what I've seen, to date, we're at like 70,000 estimates and supplements that we've handled. So we have so much data on what's going on. And the biggest piece that I see is like the contractors or like sales reps are dropping the ball after they sign the contract. That's really where, you guys see it with what you do doing BPO as well. It's really, that's where people need the most help is after that. So for us, taking the administrative burden of talking to the insurance adjuster, that's giving people so much more time to talk to their customers, because that's truly who they're in contract with. The adjuster is out here doing what adjusters do, but that homeowner is your source of income. And it's also your source of referrals. The biggest contractors that I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. The contractors that I see are the most successful are the ones that are creating a honey hole and creating, this homeowner talked to their neighbor about how great, Albright Roofing was. And then that neighbor talks to someone else. And then maybe their uncle needs a roof. And it just can spiral from there just by giving somebody a good experience.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. We see that a lot. And, we feel like raving clients. That's what we look for. That's what we want. We want them to be happy. We want them to have the world-class service and the world-class support. So That's it. That's perfect. Awesome.
Oh, and you guys are so good about testimonials and all of that. That's how Thais and I got connected. Was I was getting pinged with your guys' marketing left and right. And then I think it was at a roof con that her and I really met and talked. And just hit it off about, people really like what you guys do. So here we are talking and enjoying our growth and partnership together.
Perfect. That's amazing. And
Yeah.
that RoofCon was, I believe, maybe the end of 2024, correct?
Yeah, it sure was. So we're 6 months into a relationship. We're still honeymooning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Growing strong. Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, and that's great. It's all about connections.
Mhm.
And I feel like, when you're dealing with another human, you're just being another human, and that's what people want, actually. They just want you to understand them. So
yeah, and it's also a big initiative, because I've had so many titles working at Balance. That's just kind of a testament to the growth. I keep tossing business cards because my title changes and I'm doing something different and constantly growing. And I was just like, just put Adam. I'm Adam at Balance. That's all. That's all it
Adam
is.
from Balance Times. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Perfect.
but our big initiative this year, and it's some of why we're talking, and thank you guys for having Balance on Roof It Up, is leveraging partnerships. That's the biggest piece of, I might not be able to fix your problem, but I know Signs can fix your problem. And that's where a lot of where our cohesiveness comes in together, because Balance doesn't talk to homeowners. That's like hard line in the sand. We stay compliant. We're very aware of what to do and what not to do, and to keep contractors safe in that sense. But I know you guys deal with homeowners, and that's like a big piece of what you're able to do. So I can't tell you, it's so often somebody will say, well, can you just get on the phone with my homeowner and talk to them about this and really lead them through? And it's, no, not really, but we know someone who can. And that's really important with what both of our companies do.
Amazing. Yeah, it's like completing what each other do. So that's great.
Yeah.
And off to my question number 2 here, which is, how does streamlining insurance claims help contractors focus on their core business and scale?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Part of our rehearsed pitch, 30-second commercial, whatever you want to call it, is we give you time to sell, bill, and build. Because that's ultimately, I don't know very many roofers who got into roofing to talk to adjusters all day. They're there to put roofs on, throw shingles around, and go make money. And the supplementing process, or just even claims work in general, is such a tight funnel. That's really something that people get stuck in. And this week we had our law firm partner in the office. We were doing some more prep for the year, talking about everything we handle as if it goes to litigation. And his big thing, we were talking to him about how often we reach out to insurance adjusters, and he was like, my mind is so blown, because sales reps only have time to call them 4 or 5 times in a 60-day period. And we were like, buddy, we call them every other day. Like we're hitting them up 50 times in a 60-day period in some situations. So giving somebody that time back to where they can go knock another door, they can, there's a couple guys that I've heard where they post up at gas stations, and they'll just, storm came through, they're at the gas station, that's everybody's watering hole, and they have time to do that. And they're not sitting on hold with a big red carrier wading through all of the call trees and stuff like that. That's what all of our team is set up to do.
Oh, that's great. And we hear that a lot from the roofing contractors as well. If I can free up my time to, I don't know, be with my family or do something else outside working hours. If I don't have to work outside work, that's great. If I have more time to do what I like to do, because, there's always that part people don't like to do, and you have to do it because it's part of the business.
Oh yeah.
But if you can, what if it was that easy? I mean, to have a solution that somebody else could actually help you do the things you don't like doing.
Yeah.
That is something that is life-changing. Why not?
Yeah. Well, and you just said something, because, a lot of people, even we've been guilty of this, of overcomplicating what supplementing is. That's so common, and a lot of people talk about, I have this magic wand I'm going to wave and I'll get your supplements approved. Anybody, even us, if we tell you we'll get something paid for every single time, we're lying to you. If a balanced sales rep says that, give them my phone number and we'll all talk, because it's so not reality. And my favorite customers, especially in the last 24 months, are people who know how supplementing goes. They truly are experts in a process, and they just know it's not worth my time. There's so many things that you could be doing. Like you said, spending time with your kids. I have a 14-month-old that I get to go hang out with every day, and I don't want to be on the phone with an adjuster at 8:00 at night. I want to watch him walk across the living room.
Perfect. That's yes.
Important. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's the beauty of it,
Oh yeah.
And we hear that a lot here at Science Global too, because people are now having more time to do what they actually like to do, and they're having more time outside of the office as well. So
yeah, quality of life is
great. Important. Yes, exactly. And Adam, what are the biggest hurdles roofing contractors face with insurance claim, and how does Balance actually helps them?
Sure. So a couple things that I think are hurdles are like how to approach the weird ones. We supplement, roofs all the time. We're paid for the full roof. They left off components. Those are ones when I got my hands really into more of the direction of our business. It was, we need to cut the price of these down because it's just easy, so we have a product that we changed that makes those easy ones cheaper and just flat rated, and there we go. But the bigger issues are like complex commercial roofs. Big interior jobs are ones where a lot of people just get lost. Doing claim work, you just kind of fall into jobs sometimes. And big ones are like, we help people really work with their customers and kind of train sales reps on the newer, a lot of ACV policies, really high deductibles, or the roof payment schedule, the RPS that you see some of the carriers going to, where we're trying to give them the value. We might not make any money and bill you off of it, but we're going to help guide you to help that homeowner get made whole, because that's the purpose of it. And even if it's not on the insurance company, there's still a side to it of, you got to repair your house in some way or another. So, we've expanded so much beyond estimating and supplementing to really help those people out.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
And yeah. And since Balance began, what major changes actually have you seen in how the contractors handle the claims?
Ooh, how the contractors handle the claims. Okay.
Yeah.
That, when we started, it was kind of convincing people why they needed to supplement. That was kind of the pitch, right?
Yeah.
No one really knew what it was. I came from like water, fire, putting houses together after that and packing things out. And before I worked at Balance, I would make a phone call to an adjuster and, hey, there's water damage here. We need to get into this. I might send a couple pictures over text, and that was it. That was the whole process. And now it's turned into every contractor needs to supplement their files because they know internal policies, green adjusters, whatever reason we want to use for why estimates come in lower than, a proper scope would be. That's really where it's shifted to. And a lot of the guys that eat deductibles. I mean, that's the one. There's so many jobs where I'll see they lose it to someone is eating a deductible, and that's like almost tarnishing everybody's reputation. So we don't work with those people. We're actively like, hey, we can't do this because this is crossing a line that we don't want to cross, and you shouldn't do this either. It's part of our as we're onboarding people, we have like certain pieces of our playbook that we make sure to gather information, and we're like, oh, red flag, you eat deductibles, that's not okay.
Perfect. Mm-hmm.
So that's such a, it's almost like you're not a real salesperson. It's so different from, if I came up to your house and said, hey, there was a hailstorm and it hits your car, I could get you a brand new car. What value am I providing you other than something that's free? So, for a lot of those people, it's getting into a big piece of professionalism. You know what I mean? Of like, hey, we do value our integrity, and we value the homeowner's integrity. That's such an important piece of it. Of don't leave them in the dust just because it's easier to sell a free roof and not pay your deductible.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I believe sometimes too, maybe they, for example, if we started any conversation, let's say a few months ago, for me, I would be like, explain to me as if I'm 5, everything that you do, because that's what I want to understand. And sometimes it is like that with people, you do need to explain to them exactly what you're doing. And as you were saying, you maybe convince them why they needed to do that in the beginning. And it's been basically 10 years that Balance started, right? So things change. Yeah, they change fast.
We're in year 11, and that's the biggest thing for me, especially having worked here as long as I have, because I've worked here longer than I haven't at this point, and owning, like, the biggest thing that I see in my favorite customers are the people who say, I might not know it all. And, the people who say, oh, nothing that I do stinks is really the worst kind of customers, because they're not open to anything. And especially us, that's there's some pride that can go around and really having to swallow, like, sometimes Balance can drop the ball too, and owning that, there big storms happen and we have to communicate to people of, hey, just like insurance companies or maybe even production schedules for roofing companies, there's going to be a backlog that we're going to chew on there for a minute. And, there have been times where we've almost been in denial of those kind of things. And now shifting to such a openness, hey, this is what reality is, has been such a positive thing for our customers, and like our sentiment that people get back with us of really more feeling the partnership, not just transactional, I hired you to write an estimate, give me the estimate. There's really ties there.
Yeah, we have been talking lately about our core values as a company, and I think that goes exactly, and it aligns with basically what we've been saying. What we want is we want to be always kind, always helpful, and always truthful. So we want to explain to our customers what we're doing, how we're doing, and we always want to be kind to them. And we also actually want them to be kind to us too, It's a two-way street. So, but that's super important, and I think you nailed it.
I love that you brought that up, because I'm going to try to recite it because I've worked on memorizing it. Our mission statement is to lead with top-down transparency, to act with integrity, and to to bring people together to advance their lives. Perfect. So it's really more about, and this kind of goes back to why we're even talking, because we would rather tell someone, we don't have the thing to help you, but maybe Signs Global has something to help you, or our law firm partner may have something to help you. And we'd rather marketplace that and provide them with some kind of value to solve their problem than just tell them we can solve their problem, but really not ever be able to do that. Yeah.
Yes, and that's where the truthfulness comes in. Be transparent. People really appreciate when you're transparent with them, when you're truthful with them, and especially when you do that in a kind way. That's great.
Yeah.
So, based on your experience, Adam, how can the contractors balance technical expertise with strong client communication to scale successfully? It's hard.
Okay. So this is, I was homeschooled. So I promise this will come back around. So I was homeschooled, and my whole life I was told to go be a teacher. Like that was something. I taught guitar lessons when I was in high school and things like that to make money. But by and large, that was something. And I always thought, that's not really me, and figuring out, especially once I got into supplementing at Balance, teaching and education is beyond just doing it in a school setting.
Perfect.
And
Yes.
what we really try to approach supplements as, and even our communication with contractors, is going to be, hey, we're educating whomever. I educated so many adjusters on, like, there was a supplement I worked one time where the adjuster had never seen a gravel ballast roof before, and I was supplementing for some components that went in with that. And the conversation wasn't, me saying, this is why you need to add these things. It turned into more, hey, this is why this is there, and this is how that system works. And he ended up buying it, and it was a good win for me, because I spent like an hour on the phone with the guy talking him through it. But that's the most successful contractors and roofing sales reps I see are really there to educate their homeowners. They're there to give them tools so they can make an educated decision. And the least pushy sales reps are the ones who garner the most customers, because they're really there just to provide whatever service that they need.
That's great. And like, you were speaking, my wheels were turning inside already, because I was like, that's so true. That is so great, because yes, you provide them with the information that they need. They will understand why they need you and what you provide, maybe,
Oh yeah. So, and gaining and garnering that trust, because part of our onboarding is really heavy, intense on what we feel the best way to communicate the contractor to their customer. And we're really trying to help them, coach them on how to communicate certain things, how to explain what supplementing even is. Because a lot of people think supplements like, I'm drinking creatine after I work out. Like there was a...
Honestly?
Yeah. When AI imaging came out, like the image generation, we were like kind of toying around with it, and it kept putting like little pill bottles in a bunch of stuff, because supplements,
Yes, of course. And that's where the brain goes to. So what can we do?
Oh yeah. And garnering that trust with homeowners, because I just doing what I do, I've sold roofs. It's just kind of fallen into my lap, and I don't even go sell roofs. I work at a BPO company.
Yeah.
And garnering that trust and kind of teaching people, hey, this is good documentation. This is, a lot of the times we see when something doesn't get paid for because of like a real policy limitation, where that's just what it is. There's nothing that the insurance company actually owes for. And we take those moments to really guide those, our customers, the contractor, through what are the best options for your customer, the homeowner. The insurance company really doesn't owe for this. And we'll be honest with insurance adjusters about that too, of, hey, this is just the situation. Can you tell me why, so we can communicate effectively to our customer? Mm-hmm. And a big piece, something we've expanded into beyond just estimating and supplementing, because we view ourselves as America's services company for contractors. We want to see the problem and solve it, similar to what you guys have done. I've been following you for a while, and your products page has gotten a lot bigger since the first time that you published your website, and because you saw the need. So that's us. We have a whole balanced finance division now, plugging people into, reasonable loans to help solve those problems. If someone, there was one the other day that we helped someone finance a $13,000 deductible. There was nothing on the insurance company that they could do for that, and that legitimately didn't owe for it. And getting them plugged in and guiding those people, this is when to proposition it. But if the homeowner didn't trust them because they were clear the whole time, they had transparency when they explained what supplementing was, they might not have gotten paid for any of that work, and would have been one of those bad contractors eating deductibles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so that's so great too. I'm getting educated too.
I'm so glad.
Honestly. So that is super cool for me to be just being able to have this discussion with you, and understanding more about what you do, what you do at Balance Claims. So that is awesome. Really. It's always great to talk to smart people, because I always feel smarter at the end. So
Oh,
That's
goodness.
great.
No, I'm half bright,
Yeah.
remember? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's only half right. Okay, okay.
I'm surrounded
No,
by
no, no.
smarter people.
No, that's great. And that's what we want to do, like we want to
Exactly.
surround ourselves like that. That's great. Well, Adam, before we finish, before we move to the final stages,
Hmm.
um, do you want to share anything else with us? Any tips, any life lessons? I don't know, like corporate lessons, maybe?
Ooh, okay. Okay. So we put our sales team through some pretty rigorous sales training that's ongoing through outsourced company, and there's a lot that I've learned through it. It's helped me. I was homeschooled, so I've never done any kind of conventional schooling, and I just went to swinging a hammer at 19 years old from there. So it's really the first time I've ever done anything like that, and something that we've embodied across our supplementers, our sales team, and even internally, like personal growth, has been the concept of win fast and lose faster. We want to get to know and what the resolution to know is as quickly as possible. So going out and, the big one that I hear through some of the sales trainings that I've sat through for like roofing sales trainings has been, how many doors do you need to knock to get one roof? So we'll kind of, easy numbers are, if I knock 100 doors, I know I'm going to get 2 contracts signed. So I'm looking for 98 no's. I'm not looking for 2 yeses. It's a lot easier for me to find 98 no's than it is to find 2 yeses.
Yes.
So that would be my like life advice almost for a lot of anybody, because that's one, our whole sales team is very into making sure that we're a good fit for someone who's going to partner with us, because it really is a partnership. It's not, it's not just a customer to us. We really like retention. So we have, I was going through it at the beginning of the year, and we have client number 17 is still going strong and sending us work, and we've helped them scale dramatically. And seeing that's such a win for them. Seeing that they've been able to do that and grow has been so cool. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
raise the bar. That's really what it's about.
That's awesome. That's great. So, roofers, contractors, and hustlers, balance claims is the real deal when it comes to making your restoration business run smoother. So, from fire and water damage to commercial and residential jobs, they've built a system that works with your team, your CRM, and your goals. So, Adam, thank you for joining us and giving us a behind the scenes look at how Balance Claim supports contractors in the field. And to all of you listening, remember, your time is better spent leading your crew and scaling your business, not chasing down paperwork.